Hi, my name's Keith Cooper from Northlight Images, and this video is a bit of a difference to my normal ones in that it's about a film camera. Now this particular one is a very unusual film camera, Corfield WA67. Incidentally, if anyone has experience in using one of these, please do email me, contact me and let me know, because there is precious little information about these cameras on the web. I found a few people using them. I found a brochure for it with some details, but this particular one belongs to a friend of mine who acquired it recently, and it has a few minor issues, and I'll mention those later as to why he sent it up for me to have a play with. But he just wanted me to check it out and see if I could get it working. Well, yeah, it's been 30 odd years at least, well more than that, since I last loaded a roll of 120 film in a back like this. Now this is the film magazine at the back. It's one off an RB67, a Mamiya camera, so it's 120 film. You get 10 shots at 6:7 ratio on a roll of film, and there's the film advance. It has normal settings on it, all the stuff you'd expect in using medium format film, or largish medium format film. 6:7, it's almost square, but not quite. Now, there's a couple of clips here, film back comes off, and there is a mounting plate here which goes onto the camera body. I say body, it's not that much for it, it's just, you know, a lens and a plate, and its trick mechanism. You can, if you don't want it as it's set up here in portrait mode, you can rotate it. There we go. That locks into place there. Here's the dark slide. Yes, I do remember you have to remove the dark slide to expose the film, and that comes out there. Remember that. When you take this off, it locks the dark slide in place. You can't take it off. All the interlocks work fine on it. Now, this plate that rotates, the problem with the camera, by the way, and hopefully I've set up a second camera here to show some details, you can see that it's not a good fit. You do not expect that amount of wobble in your camera back fitting onto the camera here. What it turns out is it's one of the light seals, a foam seal that goes round inside that keeps everything snug, and that had completely decomposed. I had to get rid of most of what was left on it with some methylated spirits, very carefully cleaning around it. It is nasty black gunky stuff. Camera light seals are a common failure mode on older cameras. I've also got to replace the one on the film back to where that mounts onto the plate, but that doesn't have the slack in it. Where the main problem is the slack that you've got with the film back. That shouldn't be there. So the lens, so Schneider Kreuznach Super Angulon 47mm f5.6. So the shutter is here's a Copal shutter in it, so that, and this is one of those bits I have to remember, you know, get in the habit of using again. Setting my speed, there we go, goes from B right up, well, T and B, right up to a 500th. So I can set that at, say, a 60th of a second. You manually cut the shutter like that, and then there we go. Get one of my cable releases on that. Now, that's for that. Screw fit. Now, the actual lens itself is a pretty much symmetrical design, has a very wide coverage for this. Incidentally, not really enough coverage for use on something like the 5x4 here. It will give coverage. It has a center filter built into it to allow for shooting on 6x7. And I say that's where you set the shutter speed. Aperture. Now there's an interesting one. There's a control at the top here and a scale that shows you the aperture setting. That's fair enough. Seems to go from 5.6 to 32. Until you look underneath the camera, you can find another extra scale, and that is the one you have to use, because that is the one that is calibrated with the lens for the camera. So presumably, and the filter as well, and I don't know, but suffice to say there is another one as well. There are 3 different aperture scales on this, and they're all subtly different. There is a helicoid built into it, so the lens can be focused like that. You can, it was available, I believe, a ground glass screen and various other things for precision focusing and framing and stuff. So what we've got is a nice looking little medium format camera, which I shall get some rolls of black and white film in and have a go with. Nice little things like bubble levels on it, but here's the trick it does. See this on the top here? This is the viewfinder. Now it's just a straightforward optical system. It gives you a choice of portrait or landscape mode by rotating, and let's see if this works properly. There we go. We can rotate the aperture on the ring of it. So it's as simple as that. Now, there's not the precision. If you're used to looking at, the image coming straight off the sensor, as I am for, cameras like this takes a little bit of experience getting used to. But its trick, it does rise and fall, or shift as I tend to call it. Rise and fall is something that is typically, if you come from a larger format background, you'll know what I mean when I say rise and fall, but I just call it shift and a direction. So this is up, down, shift. Watch what happens to the viewfinder as I shift the lens upwards. You'll see there's a geared motion. Move it back down again. There we go. If I shift downwards, the viewfinder points down. Now, there is a little bit of slack in this, so I will check the mechanism and stuff. But the main problem that I can see was the failure of the light seals on it, which goes on old cameras anyway. So, yes, I will be having a look at it. Now, not something I covered. I've written a book on how to use tilt-shift lenses. Didn't cover anything like this in it. This is a new one on me. So, Corfield WA67. If you have any knowledge of one of these or know of any sources of information, please do let me know. I noticed little things like the scale here on the rise and fall goes, you get 18 mm of rise and fall, but once you go above 10 millimeters of movement, there is a minimum aperture written on the scale here, which tells me, for example, if I want the full 18 millimeters of shift, I better stop down to f22. Now that's f22 by this scale down the bottom here, not this one here or this one. This one with a little lever on it and things. If people say film, it slows you down a bit. Certainly will slow me down for a while. As I say, it's over 30 years since I even loaded a roll of film in something like this. So I would need to do some experimenting. I will be doing some more coverage of this, and eventually, when it's good enough, compare it with some other kit, but not until I'm happy I'm getting the best from it. From what I read, this is an extremely good lens. So, we could get some interesting pictures from it. Let's say there are a few little bits and pieces need tidying up with it, but it's a lovely bit of kit. And please, any info, let me know. Hope that was of some interest. As I say, a bit of a change from the usual stuff. I will be returning to stuff on printers. I've still got the Canon Pro 310 here, 300 here, so I'm going to do some stuff. I got some stuff to do on black and white and a few other various bits and pieces. But I thought, well, interesting. Bit of a challenge. Anyway, hope that was of interest, and bye. Thanks for watching.